So the Canadian government is actually suggesting to certain people who don't have life-threatening illnesses, they're also going to very shortly include mental illness under the list of things that doctors can prescribe medically assisted suicide for. What does this tell us about the lack of respect for life north of the border?
It tells us a great deal. This is the nature of progressivism, right? The nature of progressivism is to free humanity from all bonds, including to your own life, and how these government bureaucrats in Canada look at us as human beings. They don't look at us as people with human dignity that were created by a loving God. They look at us as a number. They look at us as a liability. And so when it comes time to actually do the work and put someone through therapy and get them counseling to go through their depression or give them cancer surgeries that cost thousands and thousands, the numbers just don't match up to a $25 a suicide pill, right? It's a lot cheaper to just end someone's life. And that's what we see with all of these progressive policies is they end up destroying the very thing that they say that they're championing, like healthcare. The progressive healthcare systems end up leading to euthanasia and suicide. It's absolutely terrible.
And it's hard to think about that from that kind of perspective too, that comes down to a balance sheet on that's how you place a financial value on life. It's a pill is more it's cheaper than long-term cancer care. It's really hard to accept that, I think, for a lot of people. Bianca?
And we shouldn't accept that, right? I mean, we all are human beings. We have human dignity. We were created by God, and we have rights to that. And each one of us is necessary. Each one of us is invaluable. None of us are islands, right? We go on to be someone's spouse, someone's father, someone's teacher. We all impact the world in incredible ways, immeasurable ways. And that is the problem with progressive policies is they don't treat us like human beings. They treat us like dogs. Worse than dogs, actually. If you were to have, progressives hate euthanasia for animals, but it seems to be an absolutely necessary policy for human beings. It's absolutely upside down and it's evil.
And sometimes we see it even pitched as travel tourism here, like you can come here and get a medically assisted suicide, which is, another weird, morbid aspect to all of this. Hey, Terry, we want to get your reaction to this exchange. It is about life, and it was on Capitol Hill between Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She was talking about transgender activist Alejandro Caraballo, and they're talking about extremist threats. And Caraballo is a clinical instructor at Harvard's law school cyber law clinic, and she got a bit tripped up in her argument because she had tweeted something about the justices that overturned Roe v. Wade, and you see it right behind Congresswoman Nancy Mace. They should never know peace again, she wrote. It's our civic duty to accost them every time they are in public. They are pariahs since these women don't have their rights. These justices should never have a peaceful moment again in public. Again. Let's play the clip and get your reaction on the other side.
I know something about being accosted. The night of January 5th, I was physically accosted on the streets of D.C. in Navy Yard by a constituent of mine. I fervently blamed rhetoric on social media, rhetoric at public events, for being physically accosted. I carry a gun everywhere I go when I am in my district and I'm at home because I know personally that rhetoric has consequences. I have a question, is it yes or no? Do you believe your rhetoric is a threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme Court?
I don't believe that's a correct characterization of my statements.
Did you not tweet that? That you thought that the Supreme Court justices should be accosted?
What I'm saying is that is not an accurate characterization of my statements.
Hard when it's a tweet that never dies, But, we talk about the fight for life, and this Roe v. Wade and the overturning has caused so much, issues here when it comes to, the justices that their homes were, every day people were going out. It just shows you that, people who just want to see, I don't know, an unborn baby, the fetus there protected, they have to go at it and face these types of discussions and these, accusations from the radical left, Terry.
No, that's exactly right, and they weren't going to stop. The reality is that the left all too often, and I'm talking about these progressives that Nancy Mace was calling out, they project, right? They say that we're a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy, right? They encourage violence. They encourage hate. They blame us for mass shootings. They label parents who speak up at school board meetings as domestic terrorists. These people are scapegoaters, and they blame us for these things so that they can demonize us and get away with the violence that they're encouraging. It's very scary. I myself have gotten death threats working in the pro-family movement. These people need to be called out, and we're very lucky to have Nancy Mace there to have done that, because these guys get away with it. And thanks to you guys for calling this out too, because this gets ignored in the corporate media world with CNN and MSNBC. So thank you so much for covering this, because it doesn't get covered enough.
Well, thank you, Terry, for being here with us and giving us your perspective on, the value of a human life. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right.